Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. In this last segment, we're going to go ahead and start to add some details to this. So I want to show you one other way that we can use our best friend, the Shape Builder, to add some shadows and highlights to this. Before I do it on the robot, I'm going to demo in a really simple area for you here, just to kind of show you. So let's pick a source of light. So let's say that our light is coming from, in general, the upper left-hand corner. And let's throw in a ellipse right here, just a simple circle. Okay, so we have a circle, and let's go ahead and let's fill this with really any color right now. Let's do the blue. We'll do the dark blue and the light blue. And I'll leave the stroke on it just for, I'll leave the stroke on it just for a minute so that you can kind of see what's happening a little bit here with this. But here's how we're going to do this. So in traditional art, if the light is coming from here, it's going to be brighter in the upper half, and this shadow is going to be in the lower part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this shape. I'm going to hold the Alt key to duplicate it. I'm going to drag it up, and I'm going to kind of look at where those shapes are overlapping. Okay, and if I get rid of my fills for a second, let's do that so that you can see. So I'm going to look at my original circle. So I want the highlight to be this part and the shadow to be this part. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move this a little bit, readjust a little bit maybe to there. Okay, so let's select both of those. I'm going to grab Shape Builder. First thing I'm going to do is delete the part that I don't want. So I don't want this part because that kind of went outside the original bounds. Now I'm left with my two areas, my highlight and my shadow. So I want this to be a part and this to be a part. So let's go ahead and get rid of our stroke, and let's use our Shape Builder to put in our shadow. Click. Oops, I did that for stroke, not fill. Let me turn that off again. There we go. And let's do fill. All right, fill, and let's pick this other fill. And my stroke didn't come off, so I'll go ahead and turn that off at this point. No stroke. And I don't think I demoed that very well, but let's try that one more time. Okay, so let's take a circle, and this works for any shape, even complex shapes. Circle, and we're going to duplicate it. So I'm going to grab my selection tool, I'm going to hold Shift and move it the direction to create the shadow. So I'm looking at the overlap here. We select both parts, we grab our Shape Builder, and the first thing I do is hold Alt, get rid of the part I don't want, and now I'm left with the two pieces that are there, and I want to make one highlight and one shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and let's click on this piece and bring this back to make this the highlight color. And or I could do it like with the orange. Let's say the orange and the orange shadow here. There we go. So now I get that highlight and shadow in a simple way with the Shape Builder. Let's try that on let's try the feet right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Same angle for the light. So I'm going to go ahead and grab both parts of my feet. I'm going to take and move this, hold Alt, and I'm going to drag up, and again I'm looking at that shape that it creates right here because that's going to be my shadow area. So let's, now with that, I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift and select the other two parts, just the other two parts I want. So I have these two parts, the new. Hold Shift, select them. I have all my parts selected. Let's zoom in here so we can see a little better. Now I'm going to hold down Alt. First thing, delete the parts that I definitely don't want. And now let's kind of merge this back together, and let's pick the right fill color. So here's my blue, and I'm going to go ahead and merge that back together. And let's pick the other colors for this. Let's do my dark orange for the shadow. Dark orange. And let's go ahead and do the dark blue for the shadow here. And there we go. And I think that kind of successfully gets that little shadow and highlight thing happening on that foot. Let's try that in one more area before we wrap this up. Let's try it maybe with the head up here. This should be pretty easy. So let's grab this piece for the head. Before I move it, I'm going to hold Alt, and I'm going to drag it, and let's see, highlights coming from here, so I think I want the shadow, maybe the lower half here, so I'm going to just do something kind of like that. So again, I'm kind of looking at this overlap piece. That's the part I want to be shadow. Everything else I want normal. So I have the new piece selected still. I'm going to hold Shift, select the old piece. Both of them are selected. Shape Builder, hold Alt, delete that piece. Let's merge all of this together. I can go over the eyes because it doesn't matter. And then that piece there, let's make that the darker blue. So go ahead, darker blue, and click right here. And there we go. Now that might be a little bit dark, but I'm going to leave that there. So now I ended up with kind of those two separate pieces by overlapping that shape builder there. Okay. I continue on like that through my project. Any piece, hold the Alt key, drag it to where you want the shadow and highlight. I'm going to go this way this time because I'm figuring the shadow's created here and over on this side. I think that's a little far. Let's move it back. Maybe like that. Select both pieces, shape builder. First step should always be get rid of the part that went past the original shape. And then we'll go ahead and pick the fill colors there. And I think that's it. I think I got one click and I put the shadow and the highlight on that and I built my robot. Now I ended up with two pieces, I think, because I didn't click on that one with the shape builder, but that's okay. I can always click on that one, delete it, and there we go. Okay, so quick way to add a little bit of complexity, shadows, and highlights to your robot. You just duplicate one of the areas and then use your shape builder to kind of do your paint bucket and add the shadows and highlights. So have some fun doing that and level your robot up. I'll see you in the next video and we'll talk about gradients, and I think that'll be the last step. Have some fun.